and those big tortoises behind y'all. So while we wait for any stragglers to make their way on over to the show, I'm going to go ahead and give y'all a brief history of the zoo itself. So the zoo actually opened up back in 1967, and back then we were just a roadside attraction, just snake farm, and all we had was that main building with some snakes and a couple other reptiles in it. Around 10 years ago, we came under new ownership, and since then we've expanded to include all of the stuff we see out here today. We also recently became accredited with the CAA, which means we're working on making everything bigger, better, and of higher quality in order to meet the standards set by those in the accreditation. To accomplish this, we are working on lots of projects on zoo grounds. Behind y'all in that little square pit in the ground is going to be our brand new turtle pond. And inside the main building, we are working on making a transition away from the old way of keeping reptiles, which was just an enclosure with some mulch and a water bowl, to a more natural and bioactive approach, which is going to be really good for our reptiles, so I'm pretty excited about that. We've also recently purchased about 25 acres to my left behind the lions, where we're going to work on expanding the exhibits we have and building brand new ones. Is this anybody's first time out here to see us today? Any first timers? Awesome. Well, I appreciate y'all coming out here, checking us out, giving us a shot. And for those of y'all who are returning, I hope you enjoy all of the new stuff we have out. We are constantly working on new projects, so I hope all of y'all will come back to see us again and check out all the cool stuff we have in store. At the end of the show, y'all are going to have a chance to come up and get some hands-on contact with our education alligator. But if that doesn't do it for you, we do offer private encounters. Basically what that is it's about 10 to 15 minutes with you and one of our education animals, where you get to hold them, pet them, and take as many pictures as you like. We've got the skunk, the fennec fox, the Burmese python, and the baby alligator. So if that sounds like something that interests you, you can talk to the gift shop for more information and to potentially book your own. But enough about the zoo. I'm sure y'all are here to see some crocodilians. So I've got a couple babies with me that I'm going to be showing off and maybe teaching y'all a thing or two. So let's go ahead and get started with our first baby. He's still a little bit feisty, so give me just a moment to get him out and ready. All right, he is not having it today. All right, this here is Parsnip, and Parsnip is a baby Nile crocodile, the second largest species of crocodilian on the planet, second only to the saltwater crocodile. These guys can be found in 26 different countries in Africa, and they are quite the ferocious predator. So with the show of hands, how many of y'all know how to tell the difference between an alligator and a crocodile? All right, a handful of people. I'm hoping that by the end of this show, all of y'all will know how to tell the difference. In my opinion, one of the easiest ways to tell the difference between an alligator and a crocodile is by looking at their snouts. Crocodiles have a very narrow and skinny snout, more of a V shape to it. But when you look at the American alligators to my right, you'll notice they have a much broader snout, a lot more wide, more of a U shape to it. So crocodiles have those V-shaped snouts, while alligators have U-shaped snouts. Another way to tell the difference is by looking at their jaw length and at their teeth placement. Crocodiles have even length jaws, and what this means is that when their mouths are closed, you typically can see both top teeth and bottom teeth poking through, and they're usually pretty neatly interlocked. Alligators, on the other hand, tend to have a pretty massive overbite, and what this means is that when their mouths are closed, you typically only see their top teeth poking through. If they have bottom teeth showing, it's usually sporadically placed and not as neatly interlocked as crocodile teeth are. Crocodiles also tend to get quite a bit larger than alligators do. Alligators are on the smaller side of things. And there's some temperament differences as well. Alligators are known for being a bit more timid, a bit easier to frighten. Crocodiles, on the other hand, are known for their aggression levels. These guys like to start fights and they usually finish them. There's some dietary differences as well. Alligators like to go after smaller prey items like fish, waterfowl, small mammals, and small reptiles. These guys, on the other hand, like to go after bigger prey items. Nile crocs in particular like to eat zebra and wildebeest and sometimes even humans. Nile crocodiles have been known to consume human beings on multiple occasions, but luckily Parsnip was born here at the zoo, so human beings are not going to be on his menu anytime soon. All right, you can see that Parsnip is sporting that typical crocodilian tail. That tail is not just for agility in the water, it has a lot of other useful uses as well. And one of these uses is actually going to be in combat. Crocodilians are constantly fighting each other. They'll fight over things like food, territory, and mates. So by having that long, powerful tail, they're able to swing it around, and when it makes contact, it can do quite a bit of damage. So it's not just the crocodile's teeth you gotta worry about, it's their tails as well. Another use for their tails is actually gonna be in storing fat reserves. These guys will store fat reserves in the bases of their tails, and they can live off of these for a very, very long time. I mentioned earlier that Nile crocs like to eat zebra and wildebeest, but what I didn't mention is that one zebra can last these guys for 6 months to a year without having to eat another meal, because they're able to store all that supplemental fat in the bases of their tail, and their metabolisms are so slow that they can live off of those for a real long time. You can see that Parsnip is also sporting that webbed back feet of his. That webbing is to help him increase his speed while underneath the water surface. Their speed on land, though, however, is not that, it can get kind of up there. However, their stamina on land is pretty low, so you can usually outrun them, or at least outrun the person with you. Alright, so we're going to give Parsnip a break. He did a great job. And we're going to move on to our next baby. Give me just a moment to put him up as he's not behaving today.